Traditionally, the research has been focused on the influence of family on child development or adolescent development, but during the last 2 decades, the recent research has indicated the necessity to analyze also the so-called child effect on family and family processes. That's why I can say that the research results indicated that associations between family and adolescent are not simply unidirectional. For example, that family influences adolescent, or adolescent behavior can influence processes that happen in family. And I can show you the schema, which represents that parents and children or adolescent behavior can be reciprocally related. So the theoretical model of the study can be seen here. There are behavior problems reported by adolescents, internalizing and externalizing ones. Then there are family relationships as perceived by adolescent, and in the study I measured family cohesion and family conflict, and also self-efficacy beliefs. And self-efficacy beliefs were added to the model because of the importance of self-concept and self-efficacy beliefs for positive individual development and achievements, and also based on the important role of self-concept in the relationships between person and environment. So the research questions that were stated, first of all, does perceived family cohesion and conflict predict subsequent adolescent behavior problems and self-efficacy ratings 1 year later in male and female samples? And also, do adolescent behavior problems and self-efficacy ratings predict subsequent family cohesion and conflict 1 year later in male and female samples? About the method, 362 adolescents participated in the study, and you can see that they were 12 to 13 years in age. And measures that were used were following: the youth self-report to assess internalizing and externalizing behavior problems, family cohesion and family conflict subscales of the FES, and also the children perceived self-efficacy scale developed by Bandura. Data were collected in 2 assessments, 1 year apart. The time 1 measurement was made when adolescents were in the 7th grade, and time 2 measurement in the 8th grade. Going on with the results. The main method that was used is regression analysis, and the regression models that were estimated, the baseline levels of the dependent variables were controlled, which allowed us to examine the extent to which independent variables predicted relative increases or decreases in dependent variable. And here you can see a schema. And for example, if the dependent variable is externalizing problems at time 2, then for independent variables in the model was entered the variable externalizing behavior problems reported at time 1, and also perceived family relationships characteristics at time 1 and self-efficacy ratings for time 1. And similarly for cohesion time 2 and self-efficacy time 2. So first of all, family effect on adolescent outcomes. The regression computations showed no statistical significant effect of family cohesion and conflict in prediction of adolescent boys and girls internalizing, externalizing problems and self-efficacy beliefs. And what about adolescent effect on family relationships? Here you can see results of regression computations, and statistical significant models are depicted. So let's pay attention to the withdrawal depression effect in prediction of family cohesion time 2, and also in prediction of family conflict time 2 in the sample of adolescent boys. That means that higher ratings in withdrawal depression reported at time 1 in the 7th grade predicted the decreases in perceived family cohesion and increases in perceived family conflict. For the sample of adolescent girls, we can also see statistically significant predictive effect of internalizing problems measured at time 1 on perceived family cohesion. And as to the prediction of family conflict time 2, we can see aggressive behavior, the importance of aggressive behavior, and social problems reported at time 1. Interesting associations were found also analyzing the possible relations between problem behavior and self-efficacy. And here you can see the results for the sample of girls, and which showed the statistically significant predictive effect of social self-efficacy for withdrawal depression time 2, and also for social problems, and the effect of withdrawal depression and rule-breaking behavior in prediction of social self-efficacy. So these results underline the mutual effect between social self-efficacy and withdrawal depression for adolescent girls sample. For adolescent boys, we can see also the predictive effect of withdrawal depression on social self-efficacy as reported at time 2. Here you can see also the results of structural equation modeling that showed also the importance of internalizing problems and the impact on social self-efficacy of adolescents, and also on family conflict at time 2. And based on the computations of important criteria, you can see that the model fits data well. Okay, going on to the discussion part. First of all, this study provided more evidence for child effect on family relationship quality rather than for the effect of perceived family cohesion and family conflict on adolescent outcomes during 1 year period. It should be mentioned that these results also correspond to the results of some recent studies underlining that adolescent behavior problems can be a powerful determinant of parenting and family processes. The effect of adolescent withdrawal depression in prediction of family relationship disruption and decreases in social self-efficacy underlines that depressive symptoms can be a negative outcome itself, and also an important risk factor that can influence the development of other emotional and behavioral difficulties. Also, it should be mentioned that the influence of child internalizing difficulties on family relationships until now has been rarely addressed within longitudinal studies that analyze child effects on parents and family, because traditionally the externalizing problems are in the research focus. We can conclude that adolescent maladjustment can influence surrounding people and can be a source of stress and tension in the family relationship. Of course, considering the role of parents and family, we should consider that perceived family cohesion and conflict is not the same as a specific child-parent relationship. the quality of which can be crucially important for the development of adolescent. And also interpreting the results in the framework of developmental theory and the theory of ecological development, it can be concluded that parents and parenting have more influential effects in early childhood, and by adolescence, other outside influences begin to have increasingly greater impact upon the adolescent and his or her behavior. So, some limitations to conclude my presentation. First of all, the study was solely focused on the adolescent within family relationship context, but we know out of the theory and other empirical studies that also a peer group and the school environment may have a very critical impact. Also, the effects of using only adolescent self-reports in a questionnaire format should be considered. And also, this study examined only 1 year period interval between assessments, and the intervals of longer duration might result in different prospective effects, especially if the initial measurements were made in the childhood and pre-adolescent period. Thank you very much. That was